Phil, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Right, the Compass Swift, the drawing. Okay, so what I've got is it, of course, it's flight at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a light background on it and bring the whites out. But first of all, what I'll do, I'll just start by warming up with my pencil, just warming up and with shapes and things like that. You know, just shapes, just look at shapes and lines. Practice. There's a good one there. That's the line I shall be using. One stripe, two stripes, like that for a straight line. Move it, keep moving, moving. Like that. If you get that flick for a straight line instead of that, just flick. You go over, go either side of the flick, but you still get that straight line and you get that dash like that. So like straight, 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 like that. Shapes, round shapes. And that. What I'll be using is, it's interesting, on this 4B, I've got on this graphite pencil, I've got, I don't know if you can see, I've got a little flat spot there that I'll be using this pencil for. That's for the background when I get all that kind of shading there. So what I'll do, I'll be doing that quite a lot around the aircraft. So just with your palm against the paper, the pencil at that angle, and do that in one direction. And you can really put the pressure on to make it darker, pressure really off to make it really light. Then you could control the tones just by one quick window wiper sort of effect like that. So there we go, just some scribbles just to get your hand moving. Right, there we go. Now, to start this, what I'll do, I've got a little, if you can see that, it's a sort of a little cigar shape with a tail on there, with two lines basically going across the quarter of the size round there, then a little gap for the pilot's seat there, but we won't worry about that at the moment. We're just trying to get a little shape. What I'll start with is these two little, and I'll gauge it on my composition on the paper. This is essential because this, the shape, will define how big it's going to be on the paper. So I'm going to do that swish on there and do one like that, just like that, so we get that sort of thing. Might even put a little line there, little line there. And just try to switch. Line your pencil like that, Okay, so we get, you can alter the lines when you like, anytime. These are just marks. There we go. Actually, I've got a putty rubber here. My good old faithful putty rubber. So we can add some shapes to it. Just little marks. There we go. There we go. Just a cockpit there. And the fuselage. Now this comes along like that shape. Like there. I'll put a tail there. Now, make sure, I think sorry, I think I'll move this forward like that. That's better. It's a nice little shape that. So we're getting the shape right. Now, there's a little curvature on the way, just little stripes like that. Just about there. Now, step. There we go. That looks a nice little way in there. Nice shape. Just check your angles like that. Yep, that's a nice shape. Follow that round. Now just right. Now there's a line that goes through there. That will just just check your just follow the lines on the plane there. Now when you've done your marks, when you've done your lines, sit back and look at it and see how accurate it is. Compare it to your photograph or whatever you're doing there. There we go, there's a little gap there. That comes around there a little bit. Just take that off. I think we've got a shape there. Yep. Quite happy with that. Just keep checking your shape. There we go. So I've got that nice little bottom shape like that. There we go. Just lightly. Just so I've got the perhaps a little. Right. just check your lines, see if they're okay. Actually, I think I'll put that one down a little bit like that. There we go, line. It's going up a little bit. Sometimes they'll go just right first time. Sometimes. And sometimes you'll have problems. But you just keep working at them. You can get lines right. There we go. Put that there. Now, the wheel covers, which there's a little gap there, just there, which is going to be my indication for my wheel. There we go. That comes round here. And that's in shadow, so the second wheel's in shadow there. So that's beginning to look okay for a little drawing. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do some little cross hatching right across there, because I'm going to use the light on the top. There's no light on there. There's a little bit of light there, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the light on the top, dark on the bottom. There's a big shadow there, which will make it look a little bit three-dimensional. It comes just past the wheel there, just lightly cross hatch it like that. So I've got a little shadow there. Now, just little marks. There we go. And look back at it and think, well, is there any more you can do? Get the shape right. Oh, just check the lines, the line there, that's going up a little bit there, but I'm not really bothered about that. I can take that out, the background. That looks actually quite nice there enough. There we go. And that fuselage is just a little bit lower. Just a little bit lower. Just getting your angles right. There we go. Yeah, quite happy with that. Now, as I was saying, I'm going to use that sort of flat piece there. Now, work first time. I'm just going to really gently, really gently go around it. And that will give me a kind of an overall composition to the aircraft. So the eye will go straight to it. I'll use this. I can use this on this picture because we've got a lot of white there and a lot of white. So I think a darker background will look fine. We'll chase it up. So I'm just trying to get a circular motion with this flat side of my pencil graphite 4B pencil. There we go. Now just round the tail. There's a little point there. It's trying to think about a circle. Try to encircle it. Doesn't matter if you bleed over there. They're just marks there. There we go. They give you something to put your darker shapes on. Now we've got a kind of nice little circular there. Can you imagine a frame like that around your composition? So it doesn't bleed off there, or it doesn't bleed off here, or just, you can imagine a frame, a nice round frame, square frame, or a round frame, really nice with that sort of composition of light, with that composition of darkness round your aircraft, because the background is just as important with the drawing, with the painting as well. There's so many really good portraits of aircraft. Absolutely superb. But the thing is that some people don't take enough time on the background, which is, my opinion, just as important. I think that's okay. See, with a dark background, I can get the motion of the propeller as well, with lightness, with my magic putty rubber. There we go. What that looks like, it's coming out really well. If you use, quite happy with that. Now, yeah, let's do a little bit more detail to it. Let's use the strength of the red and a little bit more harder fashion. So we know there we go. There we go, just that sweeping motion, window wiper motion. Not if you do it like that, you'll make mistakes. I think it's easier just to touch it than sweep. There we go, we can take that axis out like that. Same on that side. Now, actually, we can do a little bit more to the pilot here. Noticing all the darks, there's a little bit of light there as well. I'd like to capture that as well. Something, but have a look. She looks a bit too big there, but I'm not worried about that at the moment. Let's do a little bit of there we go. I think I'll take take his head, I'll put a little bit of light on his head there. So it circles around here. If you see that, then there we go, just marks like that. Right. So the strong shadow. Really dark there. Comes around here. Just forming at the moment. Noticing where all the darks are in the shadow. Always notice where your light is. Very, very important to capture shadows. Got the wheel there. Okay. Yes, that's looking quite reasonable. I'll move up from there. Now, very lightly, a little bit of shadow there. Now, of course, we've got the numbers there. So let's put the indication of the lines there. That's very good. You can make your things up, when you I've done 3 lines there. Quite nice. They really look, you know, they really take form on the shape. So you think, well, I like that. I'm going to leave that because that looks really nice. That actually a bit thick there, so I'm going to take a little bit of do it a little bit lighter. There we go. Just check your lines again. There we go. That's not bad. That's not bad. There we go. There we go. Just checking all your lines. Yeah. Tip. Yeah. That's taking shape. Really nice shape. That's really, I like that. Now we're moving back. Same with the tail plane. There we go. Shadows about there. Check your lines. There we go. Check your line. There we go. I'll be doing exactly like this on location, but obviously when I'm drawing or painting, I'll be using the pencil to look I'm drawing what's ahead of me. So it's just exactly the same with the photo, really. Curls around there, that little bright guiding stripe. There we go. Take that off there, we don't need that. Now you're always just trying to get the shape, just trying to get as accurate as possible. And when you form that, you can put all the little details in. See, these are all marks all over the place, really. But inside there, there's the accurate line you're doing. There are one, two, three lines like that. But I can form a straight one from that. There we go. Just there we go. So once there we go. Might be just take a little bit off top, I think. Oh, yeah, that's going on. I'm quite happy with that. The line coming down, maybe a little bit. Let's take that one. We don't need that. All right. That's quite nice, like that. Right, now what I'm going to do is just emphasize on the darker bits, shadow underneath the shadows, like getting the shadows in. Now, a little bit of indication. I'm not going to draw the letters actually all that detailed. I'm just going to do an impression because it'll take too long. There we go. Yeah, I'll start with the F there, which is about there on the tail. The G is right down here, so I'll do the G here, which is like that. It just comes up on the wing there. So you've got that space to work the extra numerals there. T. Actually, there's a straight bar. If you imagine your numerals, it's a straight line. It's a straight line there. Just do your dashes like that. F, T, C. Just little dashes, just indications. There's just there we go. Just same with the top wing, really. A little display there. Try to do this as slow as I can. Really, when you get plenty of practice in, you just automatically do it very quickly. But no, you've got to see that CF. Now I'm going to use that line for my bar there. That so yes, about there. The T's about there. C's about there. So we got two. Slightly off angle there. That's okay. There we go, two lines. C. Just about there, just a little indication, just little sweeps, number sweeps to get the angle. Could be a little bit down there. There we go. That's C. That. Just don't concentrate on one. Just do a little bit to one, a little bit to the other, so you get them all balanced. You do one like that, you finished it. Do another. You end up slipping over the wing. If you stop the F, C, like that, little bits and pieces. Just with little marks like that, little dashes, not hard marks. We get a lovely little gradually build up letters. Same on the other side. Now the G will, where the will is. So I look at my angles as well, see if I've got everything accurate. So I'll move along there. So I've got an indication of where that G should be. G is on the line with that. So it's on the line with there. So it's about there. Doesn't have to be all that. You can make your own drawings up. But to be accurate, there we go. There we go. Yeah, he's right over here. I can do it here. Notice the line, the angles of the lines. We have an A there and a dash. There we go, that's looking quite acceptable. Me anyway. A little sketch. There we go, that goes right up there like that. Yeah, that looks looking quite nice. Quite happy with that. Now, you see when you're drawing, you first do it and you think, oh God, it's never going to look what you want it to look like. Keep going, just keep going. It won't. It's the same with all my work. You've got the picture in your mind that you want. You have to work up to it, and you know you can do it. You just have to keep going, and that's the enjoyment. Is you see, it's a little. I think I'll do the rudder line there, which goes in between. There we go, a little rudder there. Now, I don't know if you can. Yeah, it's coming along. It's not very dark. Don't know if you can see that, but just do the little engine. I'm not doing anything really accurately. I'm just using lights and darks. Impressions of what's there. It's not actually a detailed drawing at all. It's just light and darkness and tones, and little lines. A little exhaust pipe jacket that comes right around there, and you discover so many things on aircraft that you think, oh, what's that do? Why is that there? little curvature of my exhaust pipe goes around there like that. Okay, lovely. That's nice. So that should, light there should be in conjunction with the light of the, with the darkness of there. So keeping the top light, the lightness of the wing like that. Light, dark. So the light's coming in from there and the dark's along the bottom there. So sometimes you get a kind of a three-dimensional look. Okay, now I'm using my little flat. Push that out a little bit because you can extend your background. Whatever you like. That's my darkest tone there. So I don't want the background to be, see? I don't want it to be over that dark tone. As soon as I do, I'll lose the impression of that. And essentially, you think in your mind, ah, that is the limit. I can't go any darker. So guys, you could get that lovely, beautiful kind of little, it picks up on the cartridge paper with your graphite pencil. And if you control the weight of the pencil, you can get that lovely form. It just forms out. I was talking to Chris French, another artist, very, very excellent artist. His style is like this, and I was watching him do it. Absolutely fantastic. The impression, light against dark. I've learned a lot through Chris and various forms, various artists. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little bit of light there. Take that off because the light's coming on there. And actually with putty rubber, actually I can just take that kind of just a little rub there. And that, I don't know if you can see it, that can give us the impression of the spinning of the engine, the rotation of the engine. And you can only get that with a darker background, light against dark. You can't get the, you can put dark against light on a propeller to make motion, but I don't think you can get it working really absolutely real, but that gives a lovely impression of it, the engine running. So I'm quite happy with that. Just take a little bit of light. I know I can move along. Now I can darken up a little bit, little bits of area. Need darkening. Now we got that little stay that goes on there like that. Now there we go. My 3 lines there. That looks nice. I like that. I'm not too fussed about the numerals at the moment. Actually, I can do little dabs like that. I think I'll move a little bit of darkness on there like that. A little bit of there. Let's keep going over, following your lines. You see there's a little bit of shadow there when you between the elevator and the we're getting really picky now. Where the rudder connects to the tail fin, you've got your little pins there. The pins are in light, so there we go. So you leave that little pin, a little bit of light, little pin, a little bit of light seeping through. Yeah, I think it's coming on. When you're doing a little sketch, you say to yourself, well, that looks good, that looks okay. That's as far as I want to go. But there is such a thing as overdoing one. It's quite important to know when you finish your little sketch. The thing is, I used to go to Shuttleworth on a little pad and just quick sketch airplanes, quick sketch them in 5 minutes, then move on, do another sketch. You'd be surprised how well you come along doing that sort of idea. So actually, move a little bit of detail on the pilot, I think. He's got his goggles on, I don't know. It's going to work. There we go. His little nose and that. Yeah, quite happy with that. If you had more time, you could spend a lot more time doing serial numbers and get them really accurate. There we go. Just follow the line. Line. 1, 2, C, F. All in that line. All in that line. That's so kind of formative. Yes. And they don't have to be, actually, they don't have to form an exact G like it is there. You can do an impression, which these are impressions, but you can tell what they are just by a few lines. Like that. It looks. It's okay. I think I'll move it over there a little looking at your drawing and things like that, and looking at the picture, there's so many things. You think, ah, I'm going to add that in and see what that looks like. I'm moving the wheel actually close to the exhaust pipe. We get a love that round, such useful roundness. There, exhaust pipe and engine. There, exhaust pipe and engine. Actually, because I've got a little bit more time, I do a little bit more accuracy on the engine. It's got the rocker box covers there. Little feeds into the exhaust pipe. That gives it a lovely little realistic impression. Little fin, well, because we've got a pointed pencil. There we go. There we go. That's nice. See, what am I increasing darkness on here like I have there? I can increase, take the tone of the background just a little bit more darker, only a little bit. Just have a look at it and see, add things to it, add things to your drawing. Even things that are not there, you think, I think, be experimental. There we go. See, I left that light on the top. I'll use my little flat background. There we go. I don't think I'll do any more to that because I might take it too far. Just check all your lines again. That seems to be a lovely little line there. There we go. And actually, I can use sort of a shark fin rubber there. Look, it's kind of a really sharp there, the sharp lines there. And just gently take the excess in the middle like that. This gives you a lovely little line there. I'll put 3 lines there. I want to keep that impression. That's shadow as well. So that line, that white line's in shadow. So it's slightly darker than that white, but it's not so dark. It's the shadow itself. So if you were doing a painting, you would add a little, tone that a little bit darker than the white there. So you get a dark, little bit lighter, but darker there. So you get to keep the whole tone there. So you get the impression that the stripes under light as well. Same with drawing, kind of darken that a little bit, like that. So, yeah. Now you could go very, very, very fine. I don't know what I've got, but the ailerons, we've got the impression the aileron there. This one's closed, but he's flying out because he's banking around there, so that'll be open a little bit there. See that goes where the G just cuts in the middle of the G there on the same line. This line, so that aileron will be the same line because it's all straight. So like that. So that's that line, and another one from that out. Where we go? That's just about T there, I think. And that's all right by me. That's shows you how accurate your drawing is. Excuse me, I've got a cold. I'm sniffling away. Now, I've got some time. I'll see if I can get this more. D. Quite. That's a little bit pointed there, so there we go. Keep that light. See that light there? That's coming out now. The lighted area on the fuselage and the lighted area. That little bit of light there that makes that draw that out. Maybe it's too. Maybe I pull that in a bit. The light on there. This is where I've got to use my imagination a little bit because there's no light on the fuselage. But if you decide when you do your drawing or your paper or your painting where your light's going to come from, study it on models. I use torches still now to put a torch on a model. If I'm drawing a Spitfire or something, I put a torchlight on a Spitfire and see where the shadow is, and that's a good indication because the light will always fall on where it's supposed to, and you'll get the shadow, and you can include that in your composition in your painting. With computer technology now, you can also have there's various ways of doing things like that. But I like the old way sometimes because it's more inventive. It's up to you. It's up to you what you do, and light makes the drawing, makes the painting. It really does. A little bit of light coming from there. Maybe a little bit of shadow there. on there, but I want to keep that. Let's move on to what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make the lines more accurate and straighter. That looks good. Yes, good. See, I can put that in shadow there. Just a bit darker. That tone is a little bit darker than that tone, so we're going to square them up a bit. There we go. A little bit of poly rubber there. There we go. Just take that out a little bit, and I think that'll be done. There we go. Let's have a look at it. Yes, that's okay. I'm quite happy with that as a drawing. Just sign it. There we go. That's what you do. Yeah. I think the overall, it's taken me just an hour to do that. Usually, if I was really going to do an accurate drawing, I spend a lot more time and a lot more study on seeing what shade and shadow and everything I need. Blues and reds in a painting here, they're not, there's so many you wouldn't think it. It's not one plain color. There's absolutely so many colors you can use on that to make, you know, reflection, reflected light, and that is an experimental thing. But you use, if you're painting, use as much color as you can, mix color. And I don't like to say what doesn't mix and what doesn't. I like people to find out themselves, because they're inventing themselves. They're inventing their own accurate, well, their own perceived, they're perceiving a painting which they feel was right. So yeah, it's kind of inventing things through color and pencil and changing things, and it's all time consuming. It's all good fun. And I'd just like to show you. I also do.
Say I could see that sort of sitting beside you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you were going to sort of show that.
And I was also I've done caricatures for many a year. You know, I used to do parties and things like that. But I do enjoy doing caricatures of aircraft. My ambition is to do the whole Shuttleworth collection. I'm up at halfway at the moment, but I'm doing others at the moment. And the thing about caricature. You don't have to be, as long as you've got, as I was saying about the characteristic of the aeroplane like that, that you look at it and think, oh, well, you can extend that because it's got a kind of a lovely extend nose and make it in a little character, little children's character. The wings don't have to be straight. You can flap them, or you can exaggerate things like that. So you don't have to have you have got plenty of artistic license, which you don't have when you draw an accurate drawing. But they're quite fun to do, and maybe next year we'll get something going on the caricature front. And they're quite easy to do, and they're quite. It's just looking at it and looking, well, how big is that? How big I can make it, and how small can I make it, but still define it as the aircraft. But I've always enjoyed doing that and putting a little character to it, so they've got their own personality. So hopefully I'll be doing a few more and doing a few more books. I've done one before, but I hope to put these into a calendar for next year. 2023, I believe, or things like that.
Yes, that'll be 2023, not 2022.
Yes.
We're a bit too close to 2022 to try and do that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, and I love that idea. Tim's made a good suggestion in the comments as well of a little book for kids to take around the collection to spot the real aircraft with, which actually is a really good idea. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for everybody who's coming over the year. I really enjoyed doing them, and hopefully we'll get something else for next year. Put something together.
Thank you very much for doing them. So thank you everybody for coming along. As Phil said, thank you very much to Phil for putting on these sessions. It's certainly been something that I've been looking forward to each month. And also a big thank you as well to Kira for organising all the behind the scenes bits. You never get to see Kira. She is there lurking in the background, but without her, we wouldn't be able to get all of these bits done.
Yeah. I sorry to interrupt you. I'd like to say thank you very much to Kira as well for organising it from the beginning of the year to there. She's done a grand job.
Absolutely. And then, as Phil said, we're going to take a few months break, give Phil a chance to rest and recover for a bit, come up with more ideas, and then we're hoping sort of sometime around Easter to try and do a session in person at the collection. Hopefully things will allow by then, so we'll find out. Something will happen. Mr. Shuttleworth motto: something will happen. But in the meantime, thank you very much for attending. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you all have a great new year, and we will see you all again next year.